It's the end-of-year tradition as the Wrestling Roadshow takes on the Survivor Series, consisting of team captains Mr. Chris Mann and Greg the Hammer, as we take a look at Survivor Series 95. It's the ultimate in tag team podcasting competition, the Wrestling Roadshow Survivor Series edition.
And thank you, Greg, for that fantastic introduction. And yes, we are back with the Wrestling Roadshow, and here we are for the Survivor Series 19 and 95.
Yeah, I thought I better, kind of earn my keep here at the Roadshow.
Well, yeah, I think we'll have you back next week.
Yeah, good. Oh, I'd love to be there.
There we go. We'd love to have all you listeners next time as well, but we're going to get this time out of the way. So your Survivor Series 1995.
Why did we pick 1995?
Because you hadn't seen 2002.
Yeah, I think we were trying to sort of kind of a bit of a go-between with my knowledge and your knowledge.
Yeah, one show after the year 2000 was enough for the month for you, wasn't it?
Yeah. I current wrestling, that just, I've got to watch it in small doses.
Yeah. The AEW pay-per-views are not small doses. 4 hours for them, 2 for us.
No, and that's why I was a bit shocked when I watched the footage back of Survivor Series 95. I forgot that pay-per-views don't necessarily go 4 or 5 hours.
No.
I thought I was missing some of the footage.
But, so we are in Landover, Maryland, contrary to what the event actually says. They announced Washington, D.C., which I think Landover's like on the border. But yeah, nice little technical inaccuracy there to kick us off in the US Air Arena.
We love to nitpick here on the Roadshow.
That's my life.
Yeah.
So yeah, our show opens with a match, but of course we had a dark match, which might have been on the Coliseum video release. It might have been on the bloody free-for-all show or something, but it definitely wasn't what we watched.
I don't remember. I'm pretty sure I rented this back in the day, and yeah, I didn't see the dark match.
Yeah. Well, it's an interesting little match. We've got the Smoking Guns, Bart Gunn, All Japan's superstar and current AEW star Billy Gunn, against the Public Enemy, Rocco Rock and Johnny Grunge.
Yeah, and a fact that I only found out like 2 seconds before we started recording, when I got the Wikipedia page up, like, holy shit, Public Enemy. I knew they had that little tiny run where they were there for like 2 weeks, and then got beaten up by the APA and fired. But yeah, apparently they had a dark match in 1995 in the WWF. So.
I didn't even know that they worked here. So yeah, very educational for me, this. Apparently they were actually on a dark match at the first TV tapings for Raw in 93 too.
Okay, I didn't know that either.
Yeah, if the old click-through on Wikipedia is to be believed.
Yeah, I know that quite a few ECW guys did do jobs around that time in the WWF.
Making coffee, sweeping the floors.
Well, that too, and then occasionally they wrestled. But yeah, didn't know about Public Enemy.
So our opening contest, we have the Body Donners against the Underdogs. Now, this was a nice little quirk I found in this event. They actually named the teams for the most part, well, for about the half part to be technically accurate. Yeah, I don't know if that's something that they really did for a lot of the other Survivor Series.
In the early ones they did. And then, yeah, I think they kind of got away from it.
I suppose now it's all Team Raw, Team SmackDown, Team whatever the fuck.
That's right. Yeah. But like you said, a couple of times where they give them team names, and then other matches they didn't bother.
Yeah, so the Body Donners team consisting of Skip, Rad Radford, Dr. Tom Pritchard, and the 123 Kid, accompanied by Sonny and Ted DiBiase. The underdogs being Marty Jannetty, Hakushi, Barry Horowitz, and Hollywood Bob Holly.
Yeah, a little bit of Smoky Mountain action going on here. We had a few alumni.
Between Skip, Dr. Tom, Horowitz, and Hollywood Bob,
Yeah. So, and Sonny, don't forget
Sonny. Yeah. And speaking of Sonny, 1995. It was certainly not modern day Sonny.
No.
This was her in her prime.
But what did you think of Hakushi and his role in this, being on a team called the Underdogs?
I suppose it was on the tail end of his relevancy in the States. So, yeah. This event's actually an interesting one because it takes place in a period of time that I don't really have filled in what I've watched. So I've seen stuff before, I've seen stuff after, but this and like a couple of months before, I guess, even after, it's like a blank spot. So this was quite an educational little show for me.
Yeah, I think 1995 was a bit of a blind spot for the WWF. Wasn't their best year. Also, from a financial standpoint, I'm pretty sure they lost several $1 million in 1995. So, wasn't a great time.
No, but so I think Hakushi would have been at the tail end of the run there. I think he turned up in like 94.
Yeah, they gave him a pretty good run too. Like they gave him a push, and then I think Bret Hart was the one that ended his undefeated streak. But yeah, I would say this was probably right near the end.
I mean, it made sense to give him a push. He was a big lad, pretty cool gimmick.
I love it. I loved it as a kid, and I love it now. It's the fighting warrior monk. It's a cool gimmick.
Well, the funny thing is, this show was 26 years ago, and he's still doing the same gimmick.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, just under his real name. Well, not quite his real name, but closer to his real name. Jinsei Shinzaki. Real name's actually Kensuke Shinzaki, but close enough.
Tomatoes.
Yeah. Kensuke's, Jinsei's, yep.
What did you think of the match?
I didn't mind it at all. I mean, as I just mentioned, this is a bit of a hole in the viewing. And I noticed this match in particular had a very 90s presentation and vibe to it. I don't mean 90s wrestling. I mean like 90s pop culture. Like there's a lot of youth and young energy in here, which makes sense, the new generation. But there was so much like color diversity and like bright colors. You had Bob Holly in the red, Candido in a nice red and blue, Marty wearing all sorts of colors, Hakushi in the white.
I think he was probably seeing a lot of colors too.
But yeah, so it's just like a really interesting color palette for this match. And I guess even presentation wise, it looked like the late 80s, like that real quality presentation after they started doing the Saturday night's main events and NBC told them to look like a primetime show. It still had that top tier, I guess, presentation style. It wasn't quite the raw, like, oh, here's a Manhattan Center. You can see like the way the building's lit up and everything. I don't know. It was just presented really interesting. That sort of deviated from the point a bit on what I think of the match. Like, it looked nice.
It looked bright and colourful.
Yeah, for the kids.
Yeah, all for the kids. Yeah,
it was quite an enjoyable match, I thought.
But of course, 123 Kid, who had just turned heel on Razor Ramon in the lead up to this event, and had just joined the $1 Million Corporation.
So he become the bad guy.
So he was the baddie. And I thought it was an okay opening match. There was one great spot where Chris Candido gives I think, what was it, Marty Jannetty power bomb off the top rope, which was which was interesting for 95 WWF. But
In the opener.
in the opening matchup, yeah. But yeah, not a bad way to kick things off.
It's interesting when they showed the thing about Kid's heel turn. He was refereeing a match. Like, I obviously haven't watched the TVs beforehand to really figure out why, but it just seemed a bit strange. I mean, at least he's got the right name for it. I mean, 1-2-3 Kid, that's perfect for a ref. But yeah, him reffing was weird.
Yeah, I don't think I watched the TVs or anything, so I'm not sure how he ended up being the special referee, but that's how it happened, and yeah.
Yeah, I noticed between Marty and Dr. Tom, they look like they could be tag partners, just the way the looks work together.
Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, just
Yeah, I
very
can see
similar
that.
looks.
Yeah. And this was before Dr. Tom got his haircut, when he had to look exactly like Skip. And you can tell just by watching him, he loves his hair. He's really into his hair. I've never seen a guy tussle his hair so much. And apparently it was like pretty depressing for him to have to go and get a crew cut and yeah, the blonde hairdo like Skip. But I guess this was it was just starting out as one of the body donners.
Yeah, it's interesting he was using the doctor thing as a guy who was essentially like just starting. I mean, I suppose he'd had like a long career beforehand, but for the WWF fans, it's like, oh, who's this guy? Oh, doctor.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. And he didn't like look that old either.
Yeah, and he'd really only just had those very few appearances when he was still working for Smoky Mountain. So
Yeah,
I don't think too many fans would have remembered him from there.
I suppose Smoky Mountain made sense with the doctor thing because they thought it's a doctor of love.
That's right. Yeah. But
It's a rare appearance, at least from my watching history, of Louis Piccoli, Red Radford.
yes.
I think I'd only seen him like once or twice before when he was Madonna's boyfriend.
Mexico.
Yeah, the Worlds Collide show.
Yeah. Yeah, I hadn't seen a whole lot of him either. I think he was only in ECW for quite a short time as well.
Same with WCW too, I guess.
Yeah. Didn't really get into his stride in WCW until he passed away. So, yeah, he was sort of around in patches, old Louis.
Yeah, Vince didn't like him. A nice little tidbit I picked up from somewhere, in like maybe another podcast or something. It might have been Cornette's actually. I don't know, but yeah, apparently someone was riding in the car with Vince. They went past Spicoli, and Vince said something along the lines of like, "Oh, there's that drug addicted asshole," or something like that.
Yeah,
so his drug
he had
problems weren't a secret.
Yeah, he had a lot of drug issues, unfortunately. But I think he started as like a preliminary wrestler, but he is a great talent. So they ended up hiring him full time. But yeah, I guess drug issues kind of curtailed that.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Yeah, a bit of a shame. So, there's I don't know if you picked it up here. There was a spot in this match. Kid wasn't the legal man. He come in and he kicked Hakushi, which might have led to Hakushi's exit from the match. Commentary's like, oh, the ref didn't see it. The ref didn't see it. Immediately they flick over to a replay, and it's straight in front of the ref who sees it. Not that it was particularly egregious, but
yeah. And Sid makes an appearance in the match.
That's right. Yeah, at the end there.
Yeah. Wouldn't be his last appearance on the pay-per-view.
No, he was pretty heavy in this show, actually. When he come out, I didn't quite click that it was Sid immediately. I thought it was Mike Awesome.
You didn't recognize Sid?
No, he didn't. Like, the lighting didn't immediately show who it was. It was just a figure.
Yeah.
then, like, once he come into frame properly, it was like, yep, there's no mistake in that head. That's it.
That head. What you thought? You thought Mike Awesome had invaded?
Oh, it just threw me for a little bit. I mean, I think I was on week 3 of like limited sleep by this point too.
That'll do it.
Yeah. And yeah, little thing here that I actually double checked myself. Thought I actually had been worked into a shoot, but no, I was correct. And you'd know this with your familiarity with Smoky Mountain. It's like, Sunny could have been a doctor or whatever she was studying. But then she did this, and then her life turned out the way it did afterwards. It's like,
Yeah, that's right.
imagine if she never got into wrestling.
Yeah, that's right. She did. She was studying something or other. Yeah.
Yeah, but
yeah.
yes, and of course the winners of this match were Team Body Donners.
Yeah. It was.
No, they weren't. No, what?
Was. Hang on.
No, Kid won.
Yeah, no, Kid was a Soul Survivor. Yeah.
Yeah. Wikipedia's backwards. Yeah, it was on. Anyway, yeah, your winners, the other team, the Kid team.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, they have too. Idiots.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess
That's
they
why
kind
we
of
use
had to put 1, 2, 3 Kid over since he just turned heel. So.
Yeah, it wouldn't be the first time or the last time Marty Jannetty had lose a match.
No. Yeah, he did lose a few around this period, unfortunately. But I kind of had that sense, you know, when he came out, it's like nothing about him has changed from when he was doing the Rockers. It's still pretty much the same act.
The only thing that changed was his mates.
Yeah, so that might have been part of why he didn't really kick on.
Oh, he was doing the same thing in WCW in '98.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, rock, never stop, Marty Jannetty, as Jericho called him.
That's right. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, that was about the only time you really saw him
on that pay-per-view. Yeah, unless you were watching like Saturday Night or Worldwide or the Prime.
The Prime, or was he on the Prime? I don't know if he was.
I don't know.
He might have been. We'll have to look into it. Yeah. I know he. I do remember he had a match with Raven that was pretty good on Nitro.
Ooh.
But yeah, but I think he left soon after, or whatever happened to him. I don't know.
Yeah. I think WCW would have preferred to get the other Rocker, but make do with what you can, I guess.
Yeah, well, he had photos with an NWO shirt, didn't he? Short.
He was in the NWO in 2002 when they.
Oh, I know that, but I think at the time he did he had a picture taken where he was like in an NWO shirt. And
that would have sent the dirt sheets wild.
Yeah, apparently that got a bit of heat. but yeah, anyway. Yeah, 1, 2, 3 Kid, the Soul Survivor.
Much to the disgust of Razor Ramon, who threw him onto the backstage.
Oh yeah, didn't he get hissy about it?
Oh. Well, I suppose it's 1995, and this little prick's been a thorn in his side since '93. So.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, fair enough.
Nice case of long-term booking, actually.
But it's good. It's good that the one thing they did do well in the mid-90s is they watched television properly. Like, they're actually at a proper angle where it makes sense. Not standing right off to the side or, anyway.
I think the quality of the monitors back then wasn't good enough to really try and get them in the shot.
Yeah. That's fair.
Nice little pointless note here. Jim Cornette afterwards calls the monitor a Sony Trinitron, which
he does. Yeah.
Is one of the higher regarded and sought out models of CRT monitor these days from the old retro gaming community.
Yeah, you're not wrong. Yeah. Those things are getting harder and harder to find, but they're perfect for old school systems.
A fine piece of hardware. They're allegedly destroyed by her old mate Razor.
Yeah, I could have used that for my Master System.
Yeah. So
all right, I know you want to get into the next match. I know you're itching to get into it.
Well, I was actually going to start. I had a few notes on the promo.
Oh, okay. Go on.
Yeah, so this was the I guess, the Wildcard team, one of the two later on, Jim
Yeah,
Cornette's
the
team
Wildcard Match. Yeah.
with Yoko, Owen, Razor, and Shane, don't call me Dean again, please, Douglas. Yeah, and I mean, obviously that's where I've got the note about Corny and the Sony. But yeah, the Dean Douglas character doing a promo, like I hadn't seen any of the Dean Douglas character,
Okay.
and like knowing how good a promo Shane Douglas is at his peak, you could sort of see in here he had something trying to get out, being held in by a shit gimmick.
I think they kind of told him it had to be very robotic type promo, which is pretty much what a lot of the wrestlers do now. But yeah, I think that was like part of the gimmick. It had to be very stilted, and he couldn't really be all that expressive.
Yeah, he was trying. You could see he had something.
Poor old Dean.
But yeah, it didn't last too long in this company. Politics, I imagine.
Yeah, and probably for the best. I think they pretty much wanted to get rid of him. And I heard Todd Gordon on a shoot interview say they rang up and asked about Shane, and like, well, we'll take him. So that's when Shane went back to ECW.
Because yeah, this was after he threw the belt down, wasn't it?
Yeah.
A topic you can read more about on the website, thewrestlingroadshow.com. A fine article on there that I probably should have done some research and read, but you haven't just made the connection.
Yeah, no, actually, speaking of the website, I actually went through and I've been doing a bit of editing and added a few creature comforts now that I've learned how to put YouTube links in posts.
Yes.
So
after that music post.
Yeah, that's right. I debuted a music post and I thought, wow, I've got the power now. So, I was just going back in some old articles and added a little YouTube link for Lex Luger and the Nitro debut. So, definitely check out the website.
Getting upgraded all the time.
Oh, always. And a new article too that I posted today. I don't know if you noticed.
No, I haven't had a look actually.
No.
What do we got?
Well, this next match we're about to talk about, it does feature one of those participants, Alandra Blaze.
So yeah, you don't need to tell me twice to start talking about that. Well, I suppose technically you did. This is the second time.
This is the second time I've tried to move on to this match, and
let's talk about the next match.
Okay, all right then. I don't want to twist your arm. We can go to the next one if you want. We don't have to talk about this match if you don't want to.
Well, I suppose this match takes up a longer portion of the show, so we really should.
Okay, let's get into it then.
Okay, so the next match, we have the team of... Here we go.
Oh, God, here we go.
Bertha Faye, Aja Kong, Tomoko Watanabe, and Lioness Asuka, accompanied by Harvey Whippleman. Am I saying that right?
I think
against Alandra Blaze, Kyoko Inoue, Sakia Hasagawa, and Chaparita Asari.
Well done.
So, and the ring announcer, we only got the entrances of one team here. Ring announcer got it right. Like, Kyoko Inoue is not an easy name to get right if you don't understand how the Japanese language works, and he nailed it.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it was good. It was a good effort.
So then we get the comment from Vince. What do you know about these Japanese superstars, JR?
Yeah, just throws it to him.
Surprisingly, actually, a lot. Like he gives some
all
good
through
background.
the match. Yeah.
Like, what the fuck?
There's even a part where like there's like dead air, and then Vince goes, "Okay, take it, JR." So yeah, we should say the commentators were Vince, Mr. Perfect, and JR. And, Vince and Perfect have no idea about any of the people in this match.
I don't know who wrote JR's notes, but he doesn't pay that much attention now to this sort of match. And
he used to do his research, old JR, but maybe it's kind of not as much.
I was impressed here by JR. So who have we got here? That's a lot of names. We have Lioness Asuka is probably one of the names here that probably needs a bit more elaboration. No relation, of course, to current Asuka, either the WWE version or the indie worker in Japan. Lioness Asuka was one half of the Crush Girls tag team alongside Chigusa Nagayo, better known to American fans as Zero. Competed in at least one WCW women's title tournament. Given that she never worked on pay-per-view, I guess we got Lioness Asuka here, so I can talk about the Crush Girls.
Yeah, I know. You've been dying to do it.
Crush Girls, to bring up something that annoys me here when people say, oh, arguably this, make a fucking commitment. Like, Crush Girls, I've seen Crush Girls are arguably the most popular tag team in women's tag team in history. There's no fucking argument. At peak, they were as big as Hogan in Japan, possibly bigger.
Yeah.
Personally, I prefer Chigusa. I think she's just a little bit more charismatic and just has that little bit more to her. But I have seen more of her stuff. So this team was so big that there was once Chigusa once had a match while part of the team. For 45 minutes, the crowd chanted her name and did not shut up.
Wow.
As the Crush Girls, the team also released a few music albums. I think at least 3. These are actually quality, not surprising, but yeah, they're really good. I guess the closest comparison I could make is it sounds like Japanese Kim Wilde, which is not a bad combination at all.
Okay.
If you hang around to the end of the podcast, we might play a song.
We might. If you send us money, we will. Donate to the channel. Anyway,
so that's Lioness Asuka. We've also got in here Kyoko Inoue. This year she had a top level 5-star match, might have even been a match of the year somewhere with Minami Toyota. So she was a really good worker. That's why I don't know if it was the intention, but it looked like a botch count when she got eliminated. I was like, I was looking forward to see what she could have done. Just a really, really good worker. Then we've got Sakia Hasagawa, teamed with Debbie Malenko for a bit in the early 90s. I'm at 92 in what I'm watching of this stuff, so I'm not sure what she's done afterwards. But yeah, quite highly regarded as well. Tomoko Watanabe is actually still working. She's one of the bigger girls in the match. Built like Chihiro Hashimoto, for the one person who might listen to this in 10 years' time that picks up both those names. We've got Chaparita Asari, who does a fantastic twisting body press, Sky Twister press here.
Sky Twister press.
Yeah. And this is the first time I've seen her wrestle. She does quite a bit.
Really?
Yeah, just because I haven't got to the point where she turns up yet.
Okay.
Yeah, she's quite a well-known name throughout the Joshi circles in the 90s. Alandra Blaze, probably, I want to say better known, but I think she's actually better known amongst fans now as Alandra Blaze, but it's Medusa.
Yeah.
Bertha Faye, also known as Monster Ripper to the Japanese who were watching All Japan Women's in the 80s and 90s. Also known as Rhonda Singh for those who are watching WCW in the late 90s.
Yeah.
And I do wonder, for those Japanese fans who watched her in Japan as a monster
Yep.
in better shape than this, to tune into this and see the Bertha Faye character, what would they have thought?
I think it'd be a bit of a culture shock.
Could be
definitely.
the last WWF pay-per-view they watch.
Probably. And we also should make mention, you probably got it in your notes, I don't know if you do or not, that Bertha Faye is the love interest of Harvey Whippleman.
That's right. Yeah, which explains his presence here.
Yes.
And yeah, finally we have Arjun Kong.
Boy.
Yes, so Arjun Kong, legendary in the Joshi circles. One of the best. Here we go. I whinge about people saying arguably, and then I'll say one of. Yeah. Like one of the best workers of that time period. A lot of people who might be more familiar with her now at 50, it's like, oh, what's the big deal? No, go back to the 90s. What, like this show, all the stuff prior in Japan, like she could move ridiculously well, had the size. She's just, at this point, she was a complete package of a worker. Interestingly, Arjun Kong and Lioness Asuka are on the same team. In the 80s, they were in opposing groups, but I'm not sure what Asuka did between retiring and this show. So it's minor thing.
Yeah.
But,
They probably weren't paying too much attention to Japanese storylines.
Yeah, except for JR and his commentary.
Except for JR, yeah. It sounded like he had quite a few notes on his desk for this.
Like
match.
at one point there, he referenced Medusa and Arjun Kong from a shootboxing match or kickboxing, I can't remember what he said, match in All Japan Women's in 1990. Like, what the fuck? Like, that actually happened. I've seen it.
Yeah. I think he also referenced the Crush Gals as well when Asuka got into the ring. Did they were at the original Survivor Series?
That was the Jumping Bomb Angels.
Oh, okay, yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Funnily enough, probably the third ranked team in All Japan Women's at the time, like just on the babyface side, behind Crush Girls and someone else. And when they were in America there, the fans loved them.
Yeah, I remember they were really over in the
It's like, did you notice like how athletic this match was by comparison to probably a lot of the women's stuff you're used to seeing?
Yeah.
That's why I watch it.
No, I know. But I did think this match was a little bit disjointed at times. It was, I don't know, like there seemed like there was some miscommunications going on at certain points and kind of a bit rushed for me.
Yeah, that 10 minutes for a 4-on-4 elimination, that is a bit of a rush job.
Yeah.
I suppose communication's probably not, like, normally you'd go, language, whatever. Like, nope, they've all worked together in the past.
Yeah. I know there was one point when Blaze went for I think she was trying for a powerbomb on Watanabe. And I don't think she could get Watanabe up. So it ended up just being a pile driver. Which still looked all right.
Yeah. I mean, it's a lot worse ways you can cover that.
Yeah. But
one
they
point
really
here,
put Arjun Kong over.
Oh, yeah.
In this match.
There's one point here she's working. I thought, she's doing an American style. And then immediately after I had that thought, she throws in a backdrop driver.
Yeah. Like she eliminates everybody, I think, from the opposition. I believe.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's only her and Medusa that actually get falls.
Yeah. The when Alandra pins Bertha was a little bit odd to me. She gives like a German suplex, which doesn't look great. Bertha's shoulders aren't even on the mat when the referee makes the count, and then as soon as the count's registered, like completely no sells it to go outside the ring and argue with Harvey. So I guess they were having some sort of issue going into the pay-per-view or something. You didn't see that?
No, I've got in my notes here that Medusa's German was actually really good, but I'm talking more generally than for this show.
Yeah, but yeah, like given your love of particularly Japanese women's wrestling. What did you think of this match?
I think for 1995 on a major American pay-per-view, this was great. Obviously, in Japan, you're holding it to different standards, but I've seen a lot of shit on pay-per-views in America, and this was enjoyable for me.
Yeah. I think WCW went on to do some of these types of matches, like the multi-women matches, and I remember them being all right. So
Yeah, they had a lot of tags with Ozaki, Cutie Suzuki, Akira Hokuto.
I think Asari was there too.
Oh yeah. I haven't seen like everything, but yeah.
Yeah, some were kind of in and out. Only had like maybe a couple of matches here and there, but yeah.
Yeah, Toshiya Ematsu, Meiko Satomura. Yeah, no, they had like you look at the Japanese talent that made it to America in the 90s, and if you don't look at so much what they've done, just who they are, it's a pretty impressive list.
Yeah. But I guess it was kind of something that the WWF kind of dabbled in and kind of lost interest. And WCW went the same way as well. Like after Alandra went back to WCW as Medusa, and it
which happened very soon after the show.
I think she pretty much leaves after this. And then I don't know. I guess she got released. That's what my research was. I thought her contract just ran out and they just didn't bother to renew it or something. But apparently she got released, and I mean she was still the women's champion. So that just shows how much WWF cared in the end. But yeah, I mean pretty impressive list of talent just in this match.
Yeah, definitely. And Arjun Kong getting the win there. They play some music for her. I mean, it's all right, but it's not like Electric Eye by Judas Priest or that amazing jungle theme she's got. Like when God made the devil, he did it for fun. When he wanted the real thing, he made Arjun Kong.
Oh, that's a great song. I love that song. That might have to be, maybe that has to be the next music post. I don't know. I thought, from memory, they just gave her the Orient Express theme.
Yeah, it was just generic Japanese music.
Yeah.
There's a nice little closing comment with a commentary. They bring up the idea of a match between Mike Tyson and Arjun Kong.
That would actually be kind of cool to see.
Well, both have actually worked in AEW.
See, there's connections everywhere.
yeah, but I don't know.
Well, maybe the boat sailed on that one, but it's interesting. Like, like we were just talking about how, this was probably her last Alandra's last appearance, but they really like massively put over Arjun Kong in this match.
Didn't really go anywhere, did it?
I don't know. I guess just yeah. No, I don't know.
Yeah, she was got like a month later. She was putting things in the bin on the other channel.
Yes, which you can read all about that on the latest history post on the WrestlingRoadshow.com.
Check it out.
Okay, I promise that's the last time I'll plug this.
I've still got a few to plug. So
okay, no worries. Okay.
So yeah, then we go to a Bill Clinton impersonator.
This was fucking stupid.
I don't know if it's the same guy. I don't know how many there are in the world, but they did this at WrestleMania 10.
I think it's the same guy. Yeah.
And given how young I was when I watched that show, I was just like, oh, okay, Bill Clinton, cool. They got the president, whatever.
Yeah, exactly
I didn't realize it was an impersonator until heaps later on.
Yeah, that's exactly what I thought as a kid when I rendered the video. I'm like, well, holy shit, Bill Clinton in the crowd. What the fuck? But then when later on, and I'm sure this is in your notes, like he makes another appearance, and I started thinking, hang on, there's something not right here. But yeah. It was kind of weird. Like it was basically just putting Vince's political views onto a pay-per-view.
I suppose, yeah, Vince is a strong Republican and Clinton a Democrat, and America being America. Yeah.
America. Yeah.
A big shout out to our listeners in America.
Yeah. Let's not lose them. Anyway.
Okay, so yeah, then we go to the first singles match.
Yes.
We have Bam Bam Bigelow and Goldust.
And Goldust, not long in the WWF. He hadn't
Bam Bam not long for the WWF.
Yeah, I mean, this was an interesting time, definitely, for the WWF. Like, there's a few guys that left not long after this pay-per-view.
Yeah, as I've mentioned about 4 times already, I hadn't watched this time period. I hadn't seen the early Goldust stuff when he was still a film critic.
Yes.
He was a complete weirdo by the time I started seeing him. Here he was a weirdo with like film critic stuff.
Mm.
He does a little promo thing. He's got some film quotes, some references. Yeah, it was great, I thought.
Yeah, and then they definitely kind of went off kilter with it not long afterwards.
Yeah, the artist formerly known as Goldust.
Yeah. Well, that came later, but then, when he started feuding with Razor and that kind of stuff, it kind of went a little bit, in a different direction.
But it's strange seeing Bam Bam as the face here. I don't think I'd seen him face in WWF before.
Yeah, not since he first arrived back in '87. Yeah, for the rest of the time, he was a heel.
He actually main evented WrestleMania this year as well. Well, the year of the show, not now.
No. But he should main event WrestleMania every year because he's that good.
Yeah. He's
Awesome
built
work.
like a fat biker and he moves like a luchador. Like
Exactly.
I love Bamus.
Exactly. But it's like I listened to a shoot interview Bigelow did years ago, and he said it's a curse being a great worker in this business, and I think that's especially true for him because he was such a good worker. He was a guy that they could put him in with someone new and say, yeah, get him over. And unfortunately, Bama doesn't get a lot of offense in this match. It's mostly dominated by Goldust since he's the new guy coming in, and Bigelow's. This was probably, I think, his last match in the WWF.
Very close to, yeah.
Yeah, or close to it. So, he does a really good job of putting Goldust over.
The one thing, like, throughout this, like, even from the promo, that I just struggle to, like, reconcile. Like, Goldust is Dustin Rhodes.
Yes.
Like, he's such a good character actor in it. You completely separate the two.
You do, yeah. Yeah, I remember being shocked when I picked up, I was in a newsagent's, and I just happened to see, like, a WWF magazine. I'm like, oh, yeah, pick it up, and all this stuff. Like, and then I saw Goldust, and I'm like, hang on, it looks familiar. And I couldn't, but you're right. Like, once you start actually watching him on television, you can, you kind of, it's a completely different character.
Yeah, like, he's, I guess now it's starting to come out how good he is. But yeah, people are going to look back and, like, once he retires, can look back and go, fuck, that dude was actually really good.
Yeah, I mean, along with him and the Undertaker, probably the guys that have had amazing longevity in the business. Like, I mean, you can talk about. Sorry.
So Dustin's now hitting that point where it's like he's putting, like, career best stuff on.
Yeah, which is amazing. But yeah, I was going to say, it's not like Ric Flair sort of, dragging himself into the ring to have another match. Like, Dustin's still good. Like, he's still very watchable.
Oh yeah.
It's amazing, like, you think of how many years he's been in the business. So,
like, got PWI's match of the year like 2 years ago at the age of 50 something for his match with Cody.
yeah. It was probably the last good Cody match. So.
It was the best Cody match. Like, Cody hasn't had a match on that level otherwise.
Yeah. But anyway, we're getting a bit too far ahead of ourselves.
Yeah, JR with a weird comment on commentary. I probably heard it wrong. I hope I did. It's a weird comment. Like Bam Bam's got more offensive maneuvers than a robot. Like, I don't know what movies you've been watching, Jim. I mean, RoboCop maybe, but
That's a bit strange. Yeah, I don't know.
yeah, it's just a weird comment that I probably misheard.
Yeah. No, well, we can always go back.
And yeah, Dustin in the Putty Patrol outfit from looked like a Power Rangers Putty Patrol. Not sure if it was by design or not that Little Dustin was so prominent, but yeah.
I think so. Yeah, I think so.
Any more thoughts?
Yeah, it was interesting to see the the origins of that character, and then as it evolved over time.
Yeah.
Because I don't think Marlena was in yet, was she?
No, she wasn't in the package here.
No.
She might have still been in WCW.
Yeah, it's a possibility. Yeah, but yeah, I thought it was a good little match.
Yeah, 8 minutes and 18 seconds. The shortest match on the show. And yeah, Goldust wins it with a Bulldog. Good looking Bulldog too, I thought. Convincing finish.
Yeah.
And,
I've always liked his Bulldog. He used to do it in WCW. That was his move. So.
Yeah, he did it for a bit here and then sort of moved on to, I guess, like Final Cut, Shattered Dreams.
Curtain Call.
Losing.
I think the curtain call was.
That was a thing too, I guess. Yeah, Final Cut might have been someone else.
Yeah, I don't remember that, but I know Shattered Dreams was, which he should have been disqualified every time if the referees wanted to be consistent. But yeah, anyway.
Consistency in this company.
No, exactly. Oh, that's right. Yeah, sorry.
So yeah, we move on to the third 4-on-4 Survivor Series elimination match. Which, yeah, it's good when these matches actually happened on these shows. There was a period there when they just stopped doing them. Like, there are a few Survivor Series pay-per-views with no Survivor Series matches.
Yeah, I really like Survivor Series for that reason. And then, yeah, they did go through that phase of just making it another pay-per-view. And I don't know how they do it now, but yeah.
I think there was a few of them on the last one.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, immediately coming to mind, 1998 was just a tournament for the title.
That's right.
And 2002, the closest they got was a 3-on-3 elimination tables match. So yeah, there were a few that didn't have any at all.
That's disappointing.
Yeah, the O2 is a good show. We could have done that. There's no Joshi on it though.
Damn it.
So yeah, our next match, the team of the Dark Side and the Royals.
Which the Royals made a lot more sense to me in terms of who was on the team. Like, you've got King Mabel, you've got Jerry the King Lawler, you've got Jerry Lawler's dentist Isaac Yanchem, and then you've got the Blue Blood Hunter Hearst Helmsley. One
of these things is not like the other.
Yeah. But then over on the Dark Side, it's a kind of it's an eclectic mix, I think.
Yes, you've got a mortician, or I guess an Undertaker, a Puerto Rican gangster, a motivational speaker, and a hog farmer.
And a hog farmer, yeah. So, but despite that mix, they go through without losing a man.
Yes, they did.
Yes, don't be too excited.
Yes, that point is correct.
Well, technically it's right, yeah.
Now, this match was set up from Mabel attacking Undertaker.
Yes.
That seemed to be a big thing they did a lot in the 90s, and I guess in the 2000s as well. Like,
attacking the Undertaker? Big
guy takes out Undertaker for a bit, then he comes back.
Yeah.
Taker coming back with a smashing new mask.
Oh, it's beautiful. I like it. I think it was on, was it that new reality show that WWE's got going where they go out and they try to search? Sorry?
Total Divas.
No. Where they're trying to find all these different things that have somehow ended up with collectors, and I think they went out and they found this face mask of the Undertaker.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't watched the episodes. So I've seen like the previews and stuff, but yeah.
This mask was on the cover of the Undertaker match collection DVD and probably original tape they put out. I think it was called The Phenom.
Yes.
Yeah, I rented that a few times, and I sort of wondered, like, oh, where did the mask come from? So it was good to finally get that closure, like 20 years later.
You can get on with life now.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, Savio Vega. I guess this would have been before the Las Boricuas thing.
Yes.
He was just a guy, really.
He's just a guy. Yeah. I think he was good friends with Razor Ramon, but that was about it.
Oh, yeah. He was in a lot better shape than he was during his wing appearances a few years prior.
I haven't seen that.
When he was TNT.
TNT. That's right.
Yeah. Fatu. First time I'd seen the future Rikishi in the motivational speaker get up.
Yep.
I'd seen him, obviously, as the Samoan. I guess he's always been the Samoan, but
I think he's always.
Yeah, I've seen him prior, but not in this transitional phase. I mean, I've seen him as the Sultan, but
yeah,
not in this bit. So this was cool. And
I don't think the motivational speaker thing went very long, so you can be forgiven for that.
And yeah, old Henry O. Godwin, Hog for short.
Oh, cool! Aren't they clever?
Yeah, and Phineas I. Godwin, the pig.
Yeah. I guess that was before he turned up, old Phineas.
That'd explain why he's not here.
Yeah, because Henry he originally come in as a singles, and then Phineas came later. For whatever reason, I don't know why. Because they were a tag team in WCW.
Shanghai and Tex.
That's it. Yeah. So yeah, one went and the other didn't. I guess for a little time. But,
yeah, no, didn't get there until '96.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. And so this was the Undertaker's return after the injury from King Mabel, where he legitimately broke his orbital bone or something thereabouts, which is why the Undertaker had to have the protective mask.
That's funny. I've got in my notes here. Oh, this is one of the many returns of Taker.
Yeah. He did that a lot, didn't he?
Yeah.
Especially, like you said, in this era, where I guess he needed a bit of time off from time to time.
What I find interesting about the makeup of this match is, like, a lot of these guys had future interactions with Taker.
Explain.
Well, I say a lot. I think I might be overstating that. But old King Mabel ends up becoming Viscera as part of the ministry later on.
That's right.
Isaac Yanchem, as you can see here, horribly disfigured by a fire he was in as a child.
Yeah.
And comes back as Kane a few years later. Yeah. I'd thought Taker and Triple H might have teamed at some point, but the point where I was thinking would have been the Alliance invasion thing.
Yep.
But Triple H was out with his quad and missed the whole angle, so they wouldn't have teamed then. But they'd had future matches with each other in a big program.
Yeah.
And not Henry, but Phineas would also go on to join the ministry as Midian.
Yes. So quite a few of them. Maybe not all of them, but a few.
Yeah, that's just interesting the way things interweave and the positions everyone are in here.
Now, if you didn't know what was going to happen in the future, and you just saw Survivor Series 95, and you saw Hunter Hearst Helmsley in this match, would you envision him going on to become one of the most powerful people in wrestling?
Yeah, nah.
Yeah, I didn't think so. No.
Like, he wasn't offensive or anything.
No, of course not.
Just a guy getting chased by a pig farm.
Yeah. It was interesting. I think it was Mr. Perfect who says on the commentary the first time I'd ever heard someone say Triple H. So I don't know if that was a thing or... But that was the first time I ever heard that reference.
Well, he wouldn't have been here long at all. Because he was still in WCW in the early part of 95, I believe.
Yeah, I believe so, yeah.
He was Terra Rising.
That's right.
Oh, no, he would have been John Paul Levesque at that point.
Yeah, I think he had a couple of different names in WCW.
Yeah, yeah.
But, yeah. So what do we make of this match?
I thought Lawler looked like an absolute midget standing next to Mabel and Yanchem.
Yeah. They were big boys. Well,
yeah.
This was pretty much the Undertaker show. They probably could have saved some time and just had him start the match. Because once he gets tagged in, he just blows completely through the Royals. Except for King Mabel, who, of course, he runs off and gets counted out.
What'd you think of Mabel?
I liked his theme. I actually was thinking I forgot how much I liked his King Mabel theme. I thought it was pretty cool. Obviously, it wasn't a very popular move at the time when he became King of the Ring. Of course, they did it in Philadelphia, where a few ECW fans attended and let him hear about it. I don't know. I mean, he was a huge guy, so you couldn't really expect too much from him. But I didn't mind him as a heel at this point.
Yeah, he surprised me here. He was better than I remember him being in this match.
Yeah.
But it probably says more to the low bar I remember him with, but yeah.
Yeah.
And we'll take this little opportunity just for one last little website plug. Jerry the King Lawler. Music went up last week, so go and check that out while you're checking out all the other stuff.
Yes.
More plugs than an electrical supply store.
So can we move on to the wildcard match?
Please.
Yeah, not much to speak of in that. Yeah, dark side. Yeah, Undertaker wins. Okay.
No. But before we had the wildcard match, we had a series of promos here from Mr. Hitman Bret Hart and Diesel.
Yeah.
And this was a very different style to what they were doing a few years later in this company. Like, they didn't seem overly scripted. They seemed like a bit more of a candid sit-down chat. Ah, shit. No, hang on. I'm thinking of the ones later. No, these were just good promos. Yeah.
Yeah, I think they did like a bit of a package, didn't they?
Yeah, so, yeah. That was directly before the main.
Yeah.
Yeah, they presented quite well.
Yeah, they had a certain presentation style that kind of got lost once the Attitude Era got into full swing. But yeah, I like the format they used to have.
Yeah, I mean, it could just be me looking back now, but I think the style of everything here, it sort of got hard done by and underrated because I guess the product wasn't doing that well. So then they changed it all up, and I liked it.
Yeah. Well, as long as you liked it, as long as you're happy.
And I suppose, like, if I had watched it and liked it in '95, it probably would have meant more. But yeah,
no. Shit happens.
It is what it is.
Anyway, yeah.
So we're into the wild card.
Sorry, I was just going to say, yeah. I mean, for me, I probably wasn't watching it as it was happening. I was getting, renting the tapes out, and they were probably coming out like ages after the fact. But
the good old days.
Yeah, there's good memories watching something. It's not the greatest, but it's memories.
Yeah, it was a good alternative to the mainstream product at the time, which was WCW.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, it's funny. Like, that's actually how I watched WWF pretty much up until 2002. Like, that was That was the alternative. That was the other thing. I'll watch that for something different. We, like, where I was, we had 2 video rental shops. And the main one had a lot of WCW and I guess the more current WWF stuff. Every so often we'd head over to Video Easy, which is a little bit further away, and they had the older WWF stuff, like the 92, 93, 94, basically up to like before the Attitude stuff started. So every time we'd go there, which wasn't all that often, it's like, oh, I get to watch some old WWF stuff. This will be fun.
It was just for special occasions, was it?
It was, yeah. I actually, I honestly look forward to, oh, Mania 10. Yeah, let's go.
Yeah, fuck yeah. Oh, Mania 10 wasn't too bad.
No. Even like some of the In Your House pay-per-views and that. Well, yeah, pay-per-views, yeah.
They were a bit hit and miss, I thought, In Your House.
Yeah, but no, I've got a soft spot for this time.
Well, that's good. Well, I'm glad we're reviewing 95 then.
And not like 2005 or something.
And not 2005, which would be probably a completely different attitude.
Oh, yeah. So Wildcard Match. It's interesting they called it a Wildcard Match. I guess it's a fancy way of saying to throw together.
Mm.
But I guess, like, most of the team, I don't know, half the teams are thrown together. I don't know. What was your take?
Well, you could almost call the Dark Side a bit of a wild card team. I mean, none of them really have anything to do with Undertaker, whatever. I thought it was kind of interesting. It allowed you to sort of run the different storylines that were going on at the time. So, let me see as I'm going through the names again. Sean and Ahmed Johnson were on good terms.
Yeah.
There had been some issues with Psycho Sid. British Bulldog.
Sean and Sid were teaming prior, weren't they?
Yeah.
Or was that after this?
Yeah, I think it was when because when Diesel was Shawn Michaels' bodyguard, and then Diesel turned babyface, so then Sid came in.
That's right.
And he became Shawn's bodyguard until Sid then turned on Shawn when Shawn cost him the title, I believe.
Psycho.
Yeah, he was Psycho with an S. And then you had like the Bulldog, who was going to be the next to get a shot for the WWF title. And then over on the Razor side of thing, they'd had a bit of a issue there between Razor and Dean Douglas. Yokozuna, Owen, yeah. So I don't know. I mean, there were a couple of different things going on there, and I thought it was interesting.
Yeah, it's definitely interesting. It's just the wildcard thing sort of threw me a little bit.
Yeah. They blame Gorilla Monsoon for this, apparently. He's the one that put the match together.
Yeah, it sounded like he just got the job.
Yeah, because they kind of bagged him out a little bit with this match, but...
The people's president, or whatever they were calling him.
Oh, whatever it was. Yeah.
But no, I thought he was actually a really good authority figure for the time he was doing it. I guess this is based on later stuff, but... Yeah, well, like when Vader wiped him out, that was a massive deal.
Yeah, I think that was the first time something like that had ever really happened, like a really top-ranking official getting beaten up like that. So, yeah, I liked Old Gorilla. He was good.
Believable too. I remember '97. Was it? I think Sarge was the commissioner by that point, but Gorilla might have still been around as president, and he was making calls and that, and I believed that he was in charge.
Yeah, it wasn't the worst choice.
No,
I feel like it was just kind of before all the authority figure stuff kind of got out of hand. Like it really got out of hand as when you had all these like general managers and all that kind of stuff, and this was still kind of in the infancy of the authority figures. So yeah, this wasn't bad.
Well, this wouldn't have been long after Jack Tunney, would it?
Don't. Yeah, I think. Yeah, they probably moved old Jack along, and yeah, probably. Yeah.
And so through this, they make reference to Sean having just had a rough night in Syracuse and forfeited the belt, which the Intercontinental belt. Or maybe was his smile was the reason he forfeited the belt. It's hard to keep up, but
Did you hear when Mr. Perfect made a quip about, Sean just didn't want to defend the belt, so he vacated it instead? And yeah, if you look at Sean's history with belts, he
didn't lose many of them in matches.
He very rarely, if ever, actually dropped them properly. Yeah, whether it be like the WWF title, the Intercontinental title, he's one half of the tag team titles. I think he vacated that as well. I mean, it was always something.
Yeah.
You all right over there?
Yeah, getting through it.
Yeah. Sorry to keep you up there, mate.
Oh, she's been a long day.
Yeah, we'll get through it. We'll get through it.
So Sean and his belts. So I think Dean Douglas was champ at the time, or was it Razor? Or
I think Razor had Sean had forfeited it to Dean Douglas, and then Dean Douglas immediately lost to Razor.
That's right. Yeah, same night, wasn't it?
Yeah. So I think Razor was the IC at the time.
Yeah. And obviously with a match called the Wildcard Match, you do expect a bit of back and forth and, oh, you're on my team, I kicked you in the face, whatever. She's right. Yeah, and there was a bit of that in this. I think Sean and Ahmed had a bit of a disagreement. Ahmed Johnson's first pay-per-view, by the way. I think Sean kicked Sid and didn't give a shit. Yeah, that's just the usual banter. I guess not banter, but like back and forward and the little betrayal you get in this sort of match.
I like the little exchange in the match between Owen and Bulldog when they both got tagged in and had to wrestle each other.
Yeah.
I thought that was really cool.
And that's something you get in this format of match too, I guess.
Yeah. And I'm trying to remember how this finished up. Yeah, I guess the baby faces kind of dominate this one.
Yep.
I loved how there was an issue at the end with Bulldog towards Sean and Ahmed. And then after they win the match, like Bulldog's acting like he was the one that did it when it was Sean and Ahmed that set up the final pinfall.
It's got to look strong for his upcoming title match.
Yeah. Speaking of which, the main event. Yeah.
So I actually watched this show in 3 parts.
Yeah.
So the main event I watched separately to the rest of the show. My notes here are a little bit spotty, so I might need you to carry me here.
That's all right, champ.
But just one little final note on that previous match, and this is more just a thought, a musing, if you will. I don't think it ever really happened, and I think their primes didn't quite...
The prime.
I don't think their primes overlapped at quite the right point. But how good would Sean and Yokozuna have been if they were both at their peak?
Oh, the singles.
Yeah, like Sean. I think Sean's best matches were against their big fellas.
Yeah. Well, it was a good contrasting in styles. You don't always want to see like two guys wrestling. They're pretty much like they do the same stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah,
like
you're right. I
Sean Vader, Sean Diesel, like they were some of his best matches.
Yeah, I don't know if I don't think I've. Oh, of course they did. Sean and Sid had. I'm pretty sure they had some good matches too.
I think Sean won the belt from Sid.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, in San Antonio or wherever it was.
Yeah, at the Rumble.
At the Rumble, yeah, the Alamo Dome. Yeah, you're right. Like, yeah, it would have been interesting to see Sean and Yoko.
When they built Yoko here at 641 pounds, so he was just a little bit past the prime at that point.
Yeah, unfortunately, yeah. But yeah, no, that's
Yeah, just a little thought I had there.
something we missed. Yeah.
But yeah, main event. Moving along there.
No disqualification. Grr. Fuck, this was a good match.
These two had surprisingly good chemistry. Like, people shit on Diesel as a worker, and like a lot of the times they probably got a point. But when he put his head down and it was with the right guy, he could have some good shit.
Yeah. And, it doesn't help that it's Bret Hart.
Oh, yeah. Like, one of the greatest of all time.
Of course he is. Bloody oath he is.
One of the best there is, one of the best there was, and one of the best there will be.
So this was interesting because both guys are baby faces. Main eventing a major pay-per-view, which didn't happen very often. And yeah, Brett's really aggressive in this match. And I guess the psychology there is that, it's no DQ. He's a smaller guy. He does a lot of work on Diesel's knee.
Which I think called back to their previous match.
Yeah, that's right, because they had a few matches.
Yeah.
And yeah, at some points the fans actually turn on Brett a little bit for just how aggressive he is in the match.
They're just preparing for 1997.
That's yeah.
Just warming up.
Like at one point, Brett ties Diesel's ankle to a television cable and ties it to the rope and
not the Trinitron.
No, not the Trinitron. I think it was something else. Yeah, it was some kind of cable. Which people kind of turned on that, but yeah, no, I love the match. It was had to be in the top 2 or 3 of Diesel's best matches. I can't imagine him having a better match at any other point.
I don't know if he's publicly acknowledged it or not, or who said it, but I think like Brett and Shawn were his best matches.
I think
the Brett matches actually were better than the Shawn matches. They both were good.
Yeah. Yeah, I think Nash has acknowledged that some of his best matches were with Brett. So,
and Brett probably reckons that some of Nash's best matches were with Brett.
I would imagine. I'd imagine he probably did. Yes. Yeah. But it's justified because this was a really good match and easily the best of the night.
I did like the bit where they brought out the chair and they're carrying on like it's such a big deal. Like that's a 95 high spot.
Yeah. Yeah. That's when you're watching wrestling in the mid-90s, like WWF. Like but in a way, I mean, that was great because like and later on when they go into the finish and Brett ends up on the apron and Diesel charges him and Brett goes crashing through the Spanish announce table, which
didn't they sell that like he died?
Well, I think that was the first time that they'd ever used the Spanish announce table.
I think Shawn had done it earlier.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, he may he might have. Yeah. But yeah, I mean that's the thing. Like, that's something we've kind of lost now. Like, as much as I liked ECW and all, and people rave on and on about the Attitude Era and stuff like that, but unfortunately now it's like it's just so hard to get heat because everything was just done and thrown against the wall that, now someone gets a chair, it's like, oh yeah, big deal.
Now you can knife a bloke, shoot him with a shotgun, light him on fire, and he'll still kick at it too.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, when and it was a heck of a bump too by Brett when he goes through the Spanish announce table and people are just going nuts and everything. Yeah, it was pretty cool.
Added so much.
And so Brett sells like he's dead. What do you think of the finish? with the small package.
That's right. Yeah, yeah. It felt a bit weak to me.
Yeah, I thought it was all right.
Yeah, like it wasn't like a big issue, but yeah, I don't know. It could have been more, but I don't know what they went afterwards with it either.
Well, I think they were sort of like after the match, because Diesel initially tries to pick him up from the jackknife, and Brett just kind of slumps down like he's dead, and so Diesel's kind of like, he's actually sort of hesitates a little bit. He's a bit concerned, and that's when Brett quickly rolls him up in the small package, and it got a good pop from the crowd. And of course, Diesel's pissed, and I think he actually mouths the word motherfucker. And then he goes nuts and power bombs Brett a couple of times, wipes out referees, and that's when he kind of went in his tweener stage. So this is when he was basically like, oh, if I see you with a Diesel shirt or a Diesel glove or whatever, I'll fist bump you. But other than that, you can all go to hell, kind of thing.
Yeah. And that explains why he wasn't quite as big a deal in 96 moving past this.
Yeah.
Until he was a really big deal in 96, but...
Yeah. And because then he moved on to feuding with The Undertaker, who was, always going to be the babyface.
Yeah.
So that might have been why they went in that direction.
Yeah, no, I guess having the context, it makes a bit more sense.
Because I think it would have been a bit harder if Brett had won with like the sharpshooter or something like that, and then he's got to get back up and power bomb him and power bomb the refs, and but to get, should
be a bung leg,
to get like a shock win out of nowhere, you can understand Diesel being pissed, like he was outsmarted. So, but yeah, awesome match.
Yeah, no, with the context, I'll say that finish was all right then. Yeah,
you'll accept that now.
I'll accept the umpire's decision.
Okay, good. All right, so yeah,
there it is. Survivor Series 19 and 95 in the bag.
Yeah, it was. It was not the best year for the WWF, like we said, and you had some people coming and going around that time. I thought it was an all right pay-per-view. I mean, it was good for what it was. Not the greatest, but it had its moments.
Yeah, I'm glad we did it. I'm glad I've watched it. I think it was a decent to good show, and there wasn't anything particularly offensive on it, which is high praise for WWF show. But no, it was good. I'm glad we did it.
Yeah, I agree. So what is happening in the Wrestling Roadshow network?
The Wrestling Roadshow network.
I know.
So yeah, we got. I don't know if you've heard, but we've got a podcast. You can check that out on the website and wherever else you get podcasts, or YouTube.
That's right. I keep forgetting we've got a YouTube channel now.
Yeah, I keep forgetting we do too, and I should probably upload a bit more to it. Nah, the shows go up on YouTube as they're released now. We've only released the one show since that happened, so this will be on YouTube. The YouTube version won't have the little sound, like the music and a lot of the sound stuff, because of their algorithm picking up the copyright infringement.
Litigious bastards.
Yep. Yeah, we've got some nice history on the website, the profiles, the weekly music post. Then, of course, we've got the Twitter and the other socials. That's your department.
Yeah, Facebook and Twitter. Just probably the easiest thing is probably go on the WrestlingRoadshow.com, and we've got our social media links on there, I believe. So, yeah, you can check that out, Facebook and Twitter.
Yep, and right next to that Twitter link, there's a donate button, so you can give us money, which, of course, we appreciate. But if you don't want to give us money, that's fair enough. But you can share the love. Yeah. Tell a friend about it. Someone who's like, oh, I'm listening to wrestling podcasts. Oh, yeah, I want something different.
Yeah.
Yeah, why not send them this way? I mean, where else are you going to get a podcast with 12th man references and Crush Girls history in the same show?
Yeah, and learned a little bit about Lioness Asuka's musical career, which was interesting to hear about. So,
Marvelous show, this.
Yeah, marvelous. But,
And we've got our friends at the Wrestling Glory Days page, which every time we do a show, I'll upload the show, I'll see the link on our site, and I think, fuck, that's right, I was going to give them a shout out. So here's your shout out, fellas.
Wrestling Glory. Frick that up. Wrestling's Glory Days. Yes, I am a contributor on that page on Facebook. So, yeah, they post a lot of really good stuff. There was actually a really good post recently, two-parter on the career of Jerry Lawler since it was his birthday recently. So, yeah. So, some really good stuff on there. So, be sure to check that out on Facebook. Wrestling's Glory Days.
There we go. So that's it. That's all the plugs. That's it from us. And of course, as usual, we will catch you. Oh, wait a minute. We've got the email. Podcast at thewrestlingroadshow.com.
What's that again? Podcast
at thewrestlingroadshow.com.
Fantastic.
I couldn't land the intro clean. I had to throw that in.
No. It's kind of our trademark now.
Yeah. So, yeah, we will catch you down the road.